Let me start with something strange. If you carry a case of bananas through the radiation detectors at a shipping port, you can set them off. That has actually happened. Bananas are mildly radioactive, and the dose from eating one is so predictable that scientists gave it a nickname. They call it the banana equivalent dose. Hold on to that, because the ending of that story is not what you think, and I want to come back to it later. What I really want to talk about is the things sitting on your counter right now. Some people eat one every single morning and swear it changed their energy. Other people won't touch one because somebody told them it's basically candy in a peel, and both camps are arguing about the wrong question. The question is not whether you should eat a banana in the morning. The question is which banana, because a green one and a spotted brown one are inside your body almost two different foods. Same fruit, same peel, and the numbers are not close. Let me show you.
First, what your body is actually doing at 6 a.m. You just went 6, 7, maybe 8 hours without food or water. Your brain never clocked out during that. Your heart kept going, your liver kept quietly working the whole night. So when you open your eyes, your system is looking around for fuel, and whatever you hand it first sets the tone for the next several hours. A banana gives you carbohydrate that breaks down easily. Glucose moves into your bloodstream and your brain takes it fast because your brain is greedy. It's about 2% of your body weight and it burns roughly a fifth of your energy. That's why people say they feel sharper after eating one. Fine, that part everybody knows. Here's the part almost nobody knows, and it comes straight out of a USDA-funded study that most banana videos have never read. The green banana number that stopped me cold. In 2021, researchers from Virginia Tech and the USDA bought Cavendish bananas, ripened them under controlled conditions, and then measured what was actually in them at each stage. When they used the modern method for measuring fiber, the one that captures resistant starch, an unripe banana came in around 16 grams of fiber per medium banana. A ripe one, about 4. An overripe one, the soft, speckled kind you make banana bread with, around 2. 16 down to 2. That is not a small drift. That's the fruit becoming something else while it sits in your fruit bowl. And the reason is resistant starch. In an unripe banana, most of the carbohydrate is starch your small intestine literally cannot break down. It slides past your digestion untouched and arrives in your colon still intact. Down there, your gut bacteria go to work on it, ferment it, and produce short-chain fatty acids, including butyrate, which is the fuel the cells lining your colon prefer to burn. You are not really feeding yourself with that portion. You are feeding them. Now stay with me, because the same study produced a number that genuinely surprised me.
Your green banana has fewer calories than the label says. Because so much of that starch never gets digested, the researchers calculated that a medium, unripe banana delivers somewhere around 60 usable calories, not the 114 you'd get if your body absorbed everything in it. Read that again. Same fruit, roughly half the calories your app will tell you. The ripe one, you get essentially all of it because the starch has already been converted to sugar, glucose and fructose ready to go. So when somebody tells you bananas are too sugary, my honest response is, which one? Because a green banana runs around 2 grams of sugar per 100 grams. A fully ripe one runs about 12. They're not disagreeing with each other. They're describing different fruit at different moments in its life. Nobody puts that on the sticker.
Now let me take away your favorite banana fact. Quick question. Name the #1 potassium food on the planet. You said banana. Everybody says banana. It might be the most successful piece of food marketing of the last 100 years. A medium banana has 422 milligrams of potassium. Sounds like a lot. The daily value is 4,700, so one banana is giving you about 9%. 9. A baked potato with the skin has roughly double. Cooked spinach beats it. Half an avocado beats it. White beans destroy it. So why does the banana get the crown? Because it's cheap and it arrives in a wrapper you don't need a knife to open. That's the whole story. The banana didn't earn that reputation. Convenience did. But here's what nobody mentions. The nutrient the banana is actually excellent at is vitamin B6. One medium banana gives you about a quarter of your daily need, which is unusual for a fruit. You'd need something like 6 oranges to match it. B6 doesn't get the marketing. It just quietly runs more than 100 enzyme reactions in your metabolism.
The dopamine story and the honest ending. This one gets people every time. Bananas contain dopamine, the actual neurotransmitter. Japanese researchers measured it back in 2000, and they found it in real amounts in the pulp and enormous amounts in the peel. And the internet ran with it. Eat a banana, flood your brain with dopamine, feel wonderful. That is not how it works. Dietary dopamine cannot cross the blood-brain barrier. Your brain has a gate, and dopamine from your breakfast does not have a pass to get through it. What that dopamine actually does is act as an antioxidant, and it's a powerful one. In that same study, it outperformed several well-known antioxidants in lab testing. While I'm ruining things, let me ruin one more. You've heard that bananas boost serotonin because they're loaded with tryptophan. A medium banana contains roughly 10 milligrams of tryptophan. Your daily requirement runs in the hundreds. You would need to eat an absurd number of bananas to move that needle, and the tryptophan would still have to compete with every other amino acid at the door to your brain. So the banana is not a mood pill. What it does give you is the B6 your body needs to run that conversion in the first place, using the tryptophan you get from real protein. I bring this up because I think the honest version is more interesting than the myth. The banana is not smuggling happiness into your skull. It's handing your metabolism a genuinely useful compound and a genuinely useful vitamin, and letting your body do the rest of the work itself.
So the radioactive thing I promised. Yes, bananas contain potassium-40, a naturally radioactive form of potassium. A medium banana carries about 15 becquerels of it, but here's the twist that even most science channels get wrong. Your body already contains around 4,400 becquerels of potassium-40 right now, sitting in your muscles, as you listen to this. And your kidneys hold your potassium at a fixed level. Eat more and you excrete the excess within hours. So the banana doesn't add to your radiation. Your body simply resets. Some safety radiation experts will tell you flatly that the net dose from a banana is 0, and that the whole banana equivalent dose idea, while fun, is a little misleading. Scary fact, harmless mechanism, which is exactly what happens with the sugar panic too. Next, preparation and application. Here's how I'd actually use all of this. Match the ripeness to the goal. Firm, yellow, still a bit of green at the tip, that's your everyday morning banana. More resistant starch, gentler glucose curve, more food for your gut bacteria. Save the soft spotted ones for right before a workout, when fast sugar is exactly what you want. Never eat it alone. This is the mistake I see constantly. A banana by itself at 7 in the morning is why some people crash at 10 and then blame the banana. Add fat or protein, a spoon of peanut butter, a handful of walnuts, plain Greek yogurt, eggs on the side. That slows how fast your stomach empties, which flattens the whole curve and keeps you full for hours instead of 90 minutes. Break up the bunch. Bananas release ethylene gas, which is the signal that drives their own ripening. A bunch sitting together ripens faster than loose bananas. Separate them and keep them away from apples and tomatoes, which are also pumping out ethylene. Use your refrigerator, but use it at the right moment. Once the banana hits the ripeness you want, put it in the fridge. The peel will go black and ugly. Ignore it. That's cold damage to the skin only. The flesh inside holds for days. Do not refrigerate a green one, though. Cold shuts the ripening down and it never comes back properly. Freeze the ones you're about to lose. Peel, slice, freeze. Blend it into a smoothie and it comes out like soft serve. And think twice before you bin the peel. The peel has more fiber and more potassium than the flesh, and far more of that dopamine. Wash it thoroughly, boil it for about 10 minutes to soften it, and it disappears into a smoothie or a curry. A large part of the world already eats it.
Next, who needs to be careful? I won't pretend this is for everyone. If you have kidney disease, or you take an ACE inhibitor, an ARB, or a potassium-sparing diuretic like spironolactone, your body may hold on to potassium rather than clearing it. Talk to your doctor before making bananas a daily habit. That is not a small footnote. If you have a latex allergy, bananas can cross-react with it. It's called latex fruit syndrome, and it also involves avocado, kiwi, and chestnut. And if you have IBS, the riper bananas carry more fruit tans and are more likely to bother you. A firmer, less ripe one is usually the safer choice. The first thing you eat sets the direction of your day, not through magic, through chemistry and timing. A banana was never a cure for anything, but once you understand that the green one feeds your gut and the spotted one feeds your muscles, you stop eating a random piece of fruit and start using a tool. Most people will eat a banana tomorrow morning and never know which one they picked up. If this video was informative, drop a comment saying yes. That's what motivates us to produce more videos like this. Share it with someone who avoids bananas because of the sugar, and make it a great day.